Hey, welcome Select Arcane. I had so many great interviews with so many influential Canadian hobbyists, and I felt that it was such a shame that a lot of these interviews were not going to see the light of day because we were mostly gleaning the information for the Canadian Model Horse History series. So I decided to post the interviews in full for everyone to enjoy. These are going to be kind of podcast style, great for you to paint and listen in the background, or use your YouTube Premium to its fullest advantage. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Michelle Grant, a Generation 1 Canadian hobbyist.
Yes, I have a series of questions that I'll ask, and
Okay.
uh, from what I know and from the experience I've had so far, this will take approximately an hour, if that's okay. And
Oh,
I,
well, my
but
man might come home between then and yeah. Anyways, we might have to
well,
put it in
well,
two parts.
that's okay. I also actually I'm in between work and going to a client dinner, and I'm just in some like ridiculous parking lot in the middle of downtown Toronto. So I do
Wow.
have to get to that, but I really wanted to connect with you.
Yeah. Well, we can
Okay.
always touch base tomorrow afternoon. I don't teach in the afternoon, but I might have some running around to do. My dad's in a memory facility, and he's not doing very well. So we'll see how. Yeah, we can maybe touch base tomorrow too if you want mid
Well, I
afternoon.
I'm I have no idea. This week is like the
Yeah.
worst week ever, and everyone's like, "Let's have an interview this week." I'm like, "Oh my God." So,
Well, whatever
anyways,
works for you, right?
oh, it's all right. But so first question is, can you please introduce yourself and how long have you been collecting for? When did you start?
um, my name is Michelle Grant. My maiden name was Michelle Parkin with a Y, Parkyn, and that's how I started out with as a Parkin. And I always wanted to collect model horses since I was a kid. And I remember, I think I got my first job as a chambermaid, and I bought I think it was the Briar Indian pony in Appaloosa, and my mother had a hissy fit because I spent my money on a toy horse. And I think I was about 12 or 13 or something like that, maybe 14. And yeah, I kind of started then collecting the briars. And Western Horseman always had these little want ads or these little pen pal ads in the back. And I remember seeing something about this Canadian Model Club, and I think it was Andrea or Valerie had put out this ad. And then I discovered that Marianne Dalton lived in Calgary. We didn't live very far apart. And so, yeah, I started when I was a very young teenager, a few years ago. So,
Well,
yeah, I
what
hooked up with Marianne, and we phoned each other, and then I got a hold of Bobby in Lethbridge, and then there was Andrea and Valerie. They're a year younger than me, but Andrea and I are still really good friends. Valerie, we're all still really good friends. I mean, it's been like 50 years, 50 some odd years. So, yeah, it was a really nice connection back in the day when there's no internet or anything. It was really kind of cool that we actually had to write each other on paper and get stamps. But I remember seeing an article in one of those horse magazines. Could have been Western Horseman, I don't remember, but they talked about showing model horses. And I might even still have the same article. It was like this little single column saying, oh, imagine a rainbow of ribbons, and, you're showing your horses, and it's a world of imagination. And I thought, oh, wow, that sounds really cool. Always being a horse nut, to be able to show horses, so to speak, and do everything in miniature. It was just kind of an all-encompassing, cool hobby that I thought would be fun.
so what got you started getting into like so you found it through potentially the Western Horseman, but what got you like subscribing to that and then what drove you to make that connection with those people?
Yeah. I just thought it was a really cool idea because I saw the articles first about showing model horses, I believe. And then when I saw there was a Canadian version, that was even better because I started showing photo shows in the United States because all the shows originated in the States. And that was a wee bit problematic because of the postage and stuff, the return postage for photos. And when I did photo show. It was with the Model Horse Showers Journal by Linda Walters was the original newsletter I subscribed to. And that was, way back in the 70s. And sadly, we saw all those original newsletters in Marianne's house. And we just couldn't save them. We couldn't. There's no way. So anyways, it was the Model Horse Showers Journal that I started out with. And then, continuing on with Western Horseman, seeing the ads, I noticed there was a call for Canadian artists, or maybe it was in Model Horse Showers Journal that there was an ad, Canadians, an all-Canadian club. Wouldn't it be great to just save on postage? And I honestly don't remember. It's a little cloudy for me, but it was one of those two. Probably the Model Horse Showers Journal is where I first saw the Canadians, Bobby, Marianne. Don't mind me. My memory's just sorting through all this stuff as I talk.
Approximately what year was that?
At first, I was 15. I'm 65 now. So what year was that? Where's my calculator? About 74. 1973, 74. Somewhere in there.
And so you connected with Bobby and those people out west. Who do you think was that first person that kind of was the pioneer? Who kind of brought model horses to the forefront?
In Canada?
Yeah,
Huh.
in Canada.
I don't think it's fair to say that. There was kind of a group. I would say Andrea and Valerie. Andrea Pratt and Valerie Hargreaves.
And
I would think.
in those early days, and you guys are communicating with each other and starting a photo show, what models were you collecting? What brands, and where did you get them?
Briars. Briars mostly to start with. I had a few Japan Chinas that were given to me. I didn't really start collecting Beswicks till a little bit later, but it was Briar, and I believe it was, where the heck did I get those from? There used to be a store here, Sales Saddlery, and it was a Western store, and Pearl, the manager, used to bring them in. It might have been from Sales Saddlery. I really don't remember. Or maybe I ordered it online. I don't know. I don't know.
Were these really
bit of everything.
accessible? Were these accessible at the time, or was it really hard to come across these models?
Oh, it's difficult. You either had to buy them, I shouldn't say online, mail order. You could mail order them, or, like I say, Sales Saddlery started to carry them. But I don't remember when we discovered Sales Saddlery. It might have been, I don't know when that was. Late 70s, maybe? We discovered Sales Saddlery. I could be wrong. I don't remember.
As you kind of got into the hobby in those early days, did those stores and distributors, like the tax stores, hold any events, or did they promote things in any way, kind of
No,
altering the hobby?
no, not even a little bit.
And
Not in the early days, no.
and you were in Calgary, right?
Yep.
So do you have any really memorable stories from the model horse shows or events in Canada, the photo showing, or any certain like get-togethers?
I remember going out to Thunderbird in Chilliwack. Oh man, those were good times. Holy, they were fun. We were young adults. Must have been my early 20s, and we would drive out to Chilliwack to Thunderbird, and Kathy Tweedale would run these events, and I'd meet up with Valerie and Andrea and Marianne, her sister Gloria, would drive out, and it was just so much fun. Wow. We used to laugh because Andrea would would transport her model horses in beer cases, and it was kind of frowned upon for having beer cases for her models. So there was sort of a, I don't know, it was fun. It was sort of like, we were all hobby nerds at the same time, and yet there was sort of this division of those of us who, would go out and party and do crazy things, and the other ones were a little more subdued and conservative. So it was fun. It was a really good diversity of people. And then we had the model horse show at Spruce. That was really, really special and awesome. They really accommodated us really well, and it's like we'd hit the big leagues being at Spruce Meadows, and that was really amazing. And then we had model horses up at the Highlander Hotel, at the Calgary Connection live show. Yeah, there was some good live shows. It was fun. Oh, and then there was the Thunderbird when Sarah Minkowitz came for the first time. That was crazy fun. It's like Sarah Minkowitz shows up and we're all going, holy shit, look at her work, unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable seeing what Sarah could do way back in the day. And so we hit it off really well, and we did some funny things to Sarah's halter entries. One in particular, we called it arachnophobia. And we bought this giant rubber spider and we hung it from the ceiling. And she had this Arabian horse that was black, looking over its shoulder, looking all bug-eyed and snorting and looking like it was terrified of something. So we hung this spider over this horse's head, and we put a sign on her, arachnophobia, and she won the class.
Oh my
we were
gosh.
doing it. It was so funny. It's classic. I might even still have a picture of arachnophobia.
Yes, please. Definitely need that.
Yeah. So I have some good stories. And then the time I told you we were in Lethbridge, and we were having a impromptu little fun show in Dixie's barn. Dixie Edge was not Dixie Edge. Dixie Gray was one of Bobby's good friends, a real horse lady, and we were in her barn, and like I said, there was a blizzard out there, and it was so cold. Oh my goodness! We had this show in the alleyway of the barn, and each of us had a stall to sort of as our tacking up stations. We each had our own stalls. It was really cool.
So when you guys went to Spruce Meadows, I understand that was the second and third attempts at Briar West. Is that correct? So
something like that.
Well, who organized that? Was that Breyer who initiated this and thought it would be a neat idea, or did somebody in the Canadian hobby initiate it and invite Breyer up? Because I know today that if anybody wants to, Briar West is 100% hobby funded, and you have to pay fully out of pocket to hold Briar West on Breyer's behalf. Was it like that back then?
You know what? I don't remember the exact logistics, but I was how did that work? I was tied to Spruce Meadows with my artwork. I'm not sure if the timelines line up, but I remember exhibiting at Spruce Meadows and knowing some people there. One of them, her name is Sue. Sue was Mrs. Southern's assistant. And I don't know how we got into it, but we somehow segued into that and got the ball rolling. And I don't remember exactly how that went down. I'm sorry, I don't really remember how that went. But I think it was because we knew people and sort of brought it up. Why don't we have a model horse show here? We might have had the model horse show there up in the exhibitors lounge. And then Briar West happened. Have you talked to Bobby about this at all?
I did talk to Bobby, but she did not really recount this part of it.
Yeah, me either. I think it's because I had met and knew people at Spruce Meadows and just sort of talked about things, and maybe like Christine Nurse, who owns the horse store, maybe she had something to do with it. I don't remember. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So, what key clubs and organizations were hanging around the 70s, the 60s and 70s? I know that CMC&R was around, And who
Yeah, I was
else?
part of that one. I was part of that one from the beginning, more or less. There was the Canadian Model Horse Club. What was it called? Canadian Model, the CMCR, and the CM Horse Club. I think that one was based out of Vancouver with the likes of what was the lady's name? Elsie. It was a sort of separate group of BC Vancouverites had this different club, and there kind of was a little bit of crossover between the membership and activities together, but we kind of didn't really join. Like there was talk, I think, a long time ago, maybe we should, merge the two, but no, we were all loyal to our original groups. And but there was crossover, especially at live shows.
So since you started in the hobby and as you've progressed through, how do you feel that the hobby's changed?
Oh wow, it has made quantum leaps in quality, business, the customs, the tack, the gear. It's just all so authentic and so awesome. It's some of it's become an art form in itself. It's kind of risen above hobby to it can be big business for some people.
Yeah. Um, so do you feel that there have been any uniquely Canadian contributions to the model horse hobby, like Canadian themed models, shows, or specific publications?
Oh, I'm just going to toot my own horn here. Um, in 1987, I went to the World Championships in Vegas with Bobby, her husband, my husband at the time, Ivy Olinsky, and her mom. And I had customized Canadian Clydesdales. And I was at art college at the time in fine arts. And when we customized models before the World Championships in 87, everybody was putting hair, manes, and tails on everybody. And I wanted to create a team of Clydesdales. And so as an artist and as an art student, I put myself in the position of a critique with an instructor. And I imagined having a model horse with fun fur, mane, and tail, putting it in front of my instructor and saying, what do you think? And they would say, it looks like you got fun fur glued on, right? I wanted to unify a piece. So what I did is I met a taxidermist friend. I discovered epoxy resin, and I learned how to sculpt manes, tails, braided tails, and feathering for the Clydesdales. So the pieces were unified as one thing without looking like fun fur pasted on. And I took this team of horses to Las Vegas and pretty much changed the customizing world at that time because I went to Clinky Mayhem a couple of years ago. I met Heather Wells and a bunch of the Americans down in San Diego, and we were talking about the World Championships in '87, and a lot of them remembered me from '87. And Heather Wells, as she put it, she said, "Oh, I know you showed up with your Clydesdales, and we were all talking a buzz about that Canadian girl." And I thought it was really funny her telling me this story, but in the customizing world, at the time it was all fun fur, and Kathy Maestas was the queen at the time with her diamond horses, as she called them, and was making a big hit. But I basically walked away winning the world championships with my sculpted Clydesdale, and pretty much changed the course of how people start to customize. Hang on a sec. Come in! Oh, somebody's here. All right, did you get all that?
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Ryan.
Well,
I'm just on the phone. I'll have to go upstairs. Hang on.
the funniest thing is that Twyla Weyness gave me some old photos from the championships of you with your Clydesdales.
Really, from Vegas?
I think so. I
How did
of
she
course,
get them? She wasn't there.
I have no idea. She has a million photos, and she mentioned that, so I'll have to dig through and find out exactly where they were. But if you have
I've
any
got a
old
bunch of
photos
photos from that.
of them,
I've got a bunch of photos of that too somewhere. I just have to
yes,
find them.
please. And so at this championship, this is of course pre-NAN, correct?
Yes,
And
1987.
how did that come about? Who started that?
What, man?
The
Or the world?
championship, the world championship, and
I have
did
no
that
idea.
okay.
They're Americans, right? That had been going on for some time, and they would move it around. And Vegas was close, so we all went to Vegas. That was my goal, was to go there and make an impact, and I did. It
Okay.
was pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know who organized that show. I remember meeting Karen Grimm, and sadly she's gone. And I met Joni, and I met Sarah again, and Lori Jo Jensen, and all sort of these, American names. And
Yeah,
then I got pregnant with twins.
I remember meeting Lori Joe in Colorado and her telling me a lot of the history, and but it was a lot of the American history. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, Sarah Mankiewicz just did a thing with Breyer on customized vintage customs, and she contacted me and she included me in the group of influential customizers back in the day.
oh, when was that published? I can look it up.
That was 2 or 3 months ago. Hang on, I'll look at my messages, see when she did that. She owns a bunch of my horses of my vintage. Anyways, I sent her all my information in March. This article might be March. If I can find it, I can send it to you. I don't remember what
Yes,
platform it
please,
was in.
if you can find it. Yeah.
Wow, these things, my brain's going to explode.
So
All right.
now that I think we're going into fifth gen now, though some may argue, what role has online networking played in the Canadian model horse community, especially compared to the pre-internet days?
Wow. Uh, what was the question again? Like, how has it changed? Like, how?
Yeah, how do you think has the Canadian model hobby changed, uh, pre-internet versus now post-internet? How has the internet changed it?
Well, we had to be very patient in the old days for mail to show up. Um, I think the instant gratification is there nowadays, and uh, I find sometimes the American mentality can taint people's attitudes and opinions, and it can get pretty political now. Maybe people can access more information. I don't know, and also the learning curve. I'm going to segue into that. The learning curve is you can learn from other people so quickly how they do things. How-to videos, how to make things, how to customize. It's readily available. When I was doing it, I was pretty much on my own. I used a pencil to carve and sculpt my epoxy mane and tails, sculpted manes and tails. Look, I use very, very rudimentary tools. And nowadays, it's like you can just watch a how-to video. So the information is easily accessible, and if they're dedicated, man, what's that girl's name? Darren, I forget Karen's last name. She's got her own
What,
YouTube video
Darren,
channel.
yeah, Darren Bernardchuk
Better.
of DJB.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's getting millions of views, and it's like, oh my God, like, wow.
Yeah, things
So,
things certainly have changed. But how do you feel about that? And how do your first gen contemporaries feel about that? I had a really interesting chat with Alex Parker, who's a second gen, and she told me how a lot of her friends who were second gens and first gens completely dropped out of the hobby because they didn't like it as much. They didn't like that instant gratification or instant connection. They preferred that old mail order snail mail process.
yeah, I don't disagree with her. it's lost some of the charm and the excitement, and people are so quick to be a keyboard warrior, and it just makes me crazy. It just makes me crazy that people are like that. And I dropped out mostly because I was a mother of twins, for starters. I became a mother of twins, and then in the 90s, I kind of, when the twins were napping and stuff, I'd get back into the hobby and continue customizing. And then the kids got older, and then things started getting tougher to do, you know. And here I am now. I'm customizing a little bit here and there, but I also have an art career right now, and it's a little more difficult to get my priorities straight. And back to snail mail versus instant gratification. It's just become almost so commercial. It's just so commercial, and some of these models, these original finished Briar, selling for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars is just ridiculous. It's a toy horse. Come on. That's just my thought.
And with that, do you think the perception of the hobby has changed with the new collectors and that commercial sense?
Yeah, and I do know of a couple of people who have sold off their collections and quit the hobby because they want to win at all costs, and they want to buy the flavor of the month, and they want to win and this is what kind of bothers me, is people are consumers and winning with other people's work. And as a fine artist who does oil paintings and sells artwork, I find it a really strange phenomenon that if I customize a horse, it's my art, my creation. I sell it to somebody. They now put it on a table and they win a ribbon for my work. But they're the one who's like, oh, yay, I won. Well, no, you didn't. And I think it's this really strange disconnect that we're putting pieces of art, talent, and craft on a table for an opinion, and then people own it as their own success, their own win. And I think that's really kind of a really strange thing.
Did you not do that back in the 70s and 80s? Did you not do commissions? It was just mostly
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Although I liked winning with my own work, and I kind of aspire to do that again. Right? It's like, I would love to sculpt a horse. I'd love to paint said sculpted horse and make it a 100% original Michelle Grant. Not a Bridget Eberl. Is that how you say it? Eberl? Eberly?
Yeah,
The
Eberl.
German girl. Yeah. Because really, if I paint one of hers, it's sort of half mine. It's not really her. It's not 100% mine. But wouldn't that be awesome to do 100% whole Michelle Grant? For me, that'd be a huge success to win with something like that. But to sort of, so and so can do the sculpture, I'll do the paint job, and then so and so is going to make the tack, and then this other person is going to make the doll, and then so and so is going to make the the jumps and props. It's sort of become this how do I word it? Back in the old days, we'd make our own stuff. We all made our own stuff.
Now it's like a whole collaboration.
Yeah. Kind of warped, really, don't you think?
I suppose it is. Yeah, there's not that many hobbyists who come full circle, especially in Canada anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
Beth Pert Weeks still does, and she has a lot of her old customs. Janine Hack does, but she does not show performance at all. So she just does customs. Um,
Well, I have a couple of old customs I still show, and they still do pretty well. One is Zarly Zalapsky, a zebra I did, and he's presently in the vet clinic getting repaired. This poor guy's legs fell off and he's cracking, and so I'm basically, repairing him so I can put him on a table again. But yeah, the hobby's become really, really commercial and almost cutthroat. But the quality and the excellence of everything into it is just blows my mind. Blows my mind what they do put on the table.
And now, as you watch it, and you have all this time to look back and reflect on it, like, do you think that the hobby is growing or shrinking in Canada? Why do you
I
think
think,
that is?
well, mind you, maybe that's not the best observation because I haven't really been involved in a lot of the live shows and stuff. Like I didn't go to Bobby's last one. I went to the one last year and just sort of showed up for the day kind of thing. So I don't really have a finger on the pulse of the Canadian showing circles probably as much as others do because I'm embroiled in my fine art career and life in general, you know.
Right. What challenges did you face back in the day? We talked about driving around and having to go to Chilliwack and Calgary, and there were shows happening in Vancouver and things like that. So there was the distance, and of course there's the time factor of waiting for the mail-in shows and everything. But what other challenges did you face back in the day of being part of the hobby?
Well, you had to be a good photographer too because a lot of it relied on photo shows. Um, Challenges were finding materials for your creations. Yeah, because Carol Williams showed up with her saddle kits, and that changed a lot of things too. That was amazing when she came out with her saddle kits, and you could make your own. That was really, really cool. So we visited Tandy Leather quite a bit, and that really ramped up the Canadian quality of gear. And I've lost my thought. I gotta close the bedroom door. Hang on. All right. So what was the question again? Sorry.
the challenges the challenges of the Canadian hobby.
Challenges. It was a pretty small circle. I don't think there were challenges really. Anybody else suggest challenges? Anybody else?
Uh, Distance, time, the
Distance. I'd
waiting.
say distance. Yeah, the distance between people mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as the hobby presses on and things continue to change, what do you hope to see as a first generation hobbyist in the future for the hobby? What are your hopes and dreams for the hobby?
I just hope that they embrace the new people coming in and have that sense of fun. The sense of fun seems to be dissipating, and people just get so, here we go, here's the F-bomb, get so fucking serious about it. It's like, these are toy horses. These are creations. You're showing other people's artwork. It's like, just chillax and have fun. We used to have so much fun at these things. You know, we made a lot of good friends, and really, I still have those friends today. It's about a shared love for horses, art, craft, and a little bit of the nerdiness all bundled into one. And I really hope people embrace the new people coming in and you know, bring them along. It's a really fun hobby, sort of like model railroading, but horses.
And what advice would you give to a brand new Canadian hobbyist who wants to get into the hobby? What advice would you give them?
I guess to define what it is they want out of the hobby first. Like if it's about ribbons, well, maybe you're sort of in it for the wrong reasons. Collecting for the beauty of the quality, of the pieces of the horses themselves. Like I can't believe how nice model horses are out of the box these days. Absolutely unbelievable. Some of the horses are beautiful. The sculptures are amazing. The paint jobs are amazing. But to play around, learn new skills, play with the leather, maybe not rely on buying all of your gear from somebody else. Try making it yourself. Wouldn't it be fun to just have a whole section of I did it myself, all of it? I think that would be amazing. And maybe not it can be very much a consumer based hobby. And when I see people bail out because they're not winning and selling off all their collection because they're not winning, it's like, oh, well, maybe you're missing the point of the hobby. Because I grew up in the day when we didn't have internet, we didn't have computers. We had to sit down and actually learn a skill and play and get glue all over ourselves and learn from our mistakes and I don't know, have fun, be nerds.
So with this video, I like to kind of link back to people, and because it's be at the end of like, thank you so and so for your contributions and things like that, and in the description box under the video it will have studio links, website links. Do you have any links for yourself? Do you have a studio page?
For art or model horses?
Either or, whatever you would like.
Oh, for my art, it's michellegrant.ca, mmgrant at michellegrant, or www.michellegrant.ca. I started a Chinook Wind stable page, Facebook page, and I never ever sort of launched it for my model horses. It kind of stalled. It's just sitting there. But all of my models are referred to as Chinook horses for Chinook Wind Stable. And it was just a name. Back in the day, you had to have a stable name. And I just sort of, right off the top of my head, went, oh, Chinook Winds. Yeah, Chinooks. We always have Chinooks here in Alberta. And that was my name. And that's sort of my handle from my customized horses is, Chinooks H. Colleen, Chinooks Desert Desire, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll resurrect my model horse page before you launch this video. I don't know. Would that be more appropriate than my fine art one?
No, it's really whatever you want. But actually, I have another question based on that. So, did everybody in the Canadian hobby, or was it just was it the hobby in general, Americans included? Did they do stable names, and why?
Oh, they were just to identify you as a, I don't know, kind of a brand, I guess. Uh, like for instance, Kathy Macis had Diamond Ranch, and all of her models were called Diamond something, and everybody knew her horses as a diamond horse. um, who else did that? Rio Rondo with Carol Williams, of course. Bobby is it Windy West? Yeah, it was a thing to give yourself a stable name. It was a thing back in the day. Let's pretend. Let's pretend
And
it was so fun.
was that just in Canada or U.S. as well?
Everywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of places. Yeah. Then there was Black Horse Ranch with Karen Grimm. Yeah. Marianne was Whispering Willow Stables. And I'm trying to think of who else there was. Anyways,
Okay.
have
I
you gotten a
tech
hold of Andrea Pratt at all?
She's on the list. Diana's trying to get a hold of her.
I
Let's
talked to her
see.
yesterday, so.
Yes. She's getting a hold of Val. I've spoken briefly with Verna. Um, I have yet to speak to Jen Hardacre, Ann Johnson. Uh, I have spoken to Alex Parker. I have spoken to Bobby. I have spoken to Twyla. Um, I'm starting to forget. I have all of the
No
sound
worries,
bites
yeah.
all saved. Yeah. But I technically don't have any more questions. Do you think I missed anything? Is there something else you want to add?
Too bad Marianne wasn't alive to talk to you. She she held it together for a long time with the Canadian Model Express, the CME. She was dyed-in-the-wool, hardcore model horse advocate. She was really difficult to change, though. She was really set in her ways, but man, she was dedicated. She had every single model horse journal, every CME. It was
Yeah, actually, I think Diana McDonald got some pieces from her as well.
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Couldn't have done it without the help of those other ladies. Really, it was a huge job.
But I think also kind of a sign of the camaraderie of the early hobby,
Yes,
because like who helped with the estate? It was hobby friends, and I'm not
yeah,
confident that that would be the case today with the newer generation hobbyists. Like, yes, there's
I agree.
closeness and familiarity, but I don't think that I you would see that with the younger
I
hobbyists at all.
agree 100%. And to veer off into that friendship thread, I got a phone call from Bobby in the dead of winter, and Marianne was in the hospital. She'd been in the hospital for 8 months. I remember going to see her at the hospital, and she wasn't well, and she'd had an allergic reaction to penicillin because she had some sort of super bug that wouldn't get killed by antibiotics. So she's in the hospital, and it was in March of 2020. And I went in to see her. She looked terrible. She wasn't good. And then COVID hit, and then nobody could go visit her. Marianne was in the hospital for months and then nursing home for months to try and rehabilitate her. But in the meantime, her older sister, Gloria, was at home alone and starting to suffer dementia. So Bobby Moseman phoned me from Lethbridge because she was talking on the phone to the older sister, Marianne's older sister, Gloria, and she was really concerned about Gloria's well-being. And so she asked me to go over and check up on her. And so I went over there, and it was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I checked in on Gloria a few times, and then Marianne got sick, and then Marianne died, and now Gloria's by herself. So here we are as two model horse people going, oh, what are we going to do with the older sister now? So I ended up going in with a paralegal friend of mine who does wills and estates, and then this other social worker lady, and we basically got Gloria out of this house, and I became her power of attorney and her executor. And let's just say model horse people saved Gloria and got her into a safe environment in her last couple months, and we pretty much liquidated their whole estate, all of us model horse buddies, all model horse people, all of us. It's
Oh,
crazy.
that's just incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was like a model horse person calling another one saying, hey, you got to go check up on Marianne's sister. Like, we're really worried, and there was good reason to be worried. So yeah, that's an interesting fact that it was model horse people, friends from like the 70s got together and saved other friends that were model horse people. And nowadays, yeah, you're right. I don't know if anybody would do that. I don't know.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I hate to jet out, but I in half an hour I have to go meet a client. But
You go ahead.
thank you
That was
so
great.
much.
Oh, I hope I was helpful. A
Oh
little bit
yes,
scattered, a little bit faded memories. But if
no,
you
it,
have any other questions, feel free to contact me. Hey?
yes, of
I'll
course I
finish
will.
reading this thing if you have any questions about the pictures that I maybe will find. Um,
Yes, you will not be able to send me enough pictures or articles, and we're hoping that to have kind of all of the uh, Gen 1 stuff, like hopefully in by May 31st.
yeah,
Hopefully, so because if we kind of extend the deadline into the ether, then it will never get done. So
yeah.
May 31st, if you can swing it for anything earlier than 1979.
Okay,
And
see
then
what I can do.
anything after 1979, I that won't happen until after Briarfest.
Oh, when's Briarfest?
July 11th, 12th, 13th.
Ah, all right. Well, that was awesome. I'll let you get to work, and we'll be in touch. I really, really enjoyed that. Thank you so much.